characterized by desire, hatred and delusion, but all these characteristics may be reduced to the true nature of the dharmas, which is without hindrance. It was by these soteriological means that he instructed his disciples and introduced them into the knowledge of the unique nature. Thus his disciples felt no hostility or affection for people, and, as their minds were unperturbed, they had obtained the patience towards beings. Provided with the patience towards beings, they acquired the patience relating to the dharmas. In the presence of the true doctrine, they remained motionless like a mountain. By contrast, the Dharma teacher Agramati, clinging to the purity of the precepts, practiced the 12 duties, had acquired the 4 jhanas and the formless absorptions. His disciples were of weak faculties and clung to distinguishing the pure practices from the impure ones. Their minds were always disturbed by qualms. On various occasions, Agramati went to the village among the disciples of Prasannendriya, and seated there, he praised the precepts, moderation in desires, the practice of solitude and the dhyanas. He criticized their teacher Agramati, saying, "This man, who preaches the Dharma and teaches people, introduces them into wrong views. He says that desire, anger and delusion are not an obstacle, that people of mixed practices are not really pure." The disciples of Prasannendriya, who had keen faculties and the patience relating to dharmas, asked Agramati, "O Venerable One, what are the characteristics of desire? Desire has affliction as its nature. Is this affliction of desire internal or external? This affliction of desire is neither internal nor external. If it were internal, it would not depend on causes and conditions to take birth. If it were external, it would not have anything to do with the self and would be unable to torment it." People then retorted, "If desire is neither internal nor external nor in the 4 directions, in the east, in the south, in the west or in the north, nor in the 4 intermediate directions, nor at the zenith nor at the nadir, one might look everywhere for its true nature and one would never find it. This dharma does not arise and does not cease and, since it lacks the characteristics of birth and cessation, it is empty and non-existent. How could it torment the atman?" Deeply displeased on hearing these words, Agramati could not reply. He rose from his seat, saying, "Your teacher Prasannendriya deceives many beings and clings to wrong ways. This bodhisattva Agramati did not know the ghosapravesadharani. He was happy when he heard the speech of the Buddha and grieved when he heard a heretical word. He was sad when he heard speak of the 3 evil things and rejoiced when he heard speak of the 3 good things. He hated speaking about samsara and loved to speak about nirvana. Leaving the dwellings of the vaisya, he went back to the forest and returned to his monastery. He said to his bhiksus, 'You should know that the bodhisattva Prasannendriya is an impostor who leads people to evil. Why? He claims that the nature of desire, hatred and delusion as well as all the other dharmas is not an obstacle.' Then the bodhisattva Prasannendriya had this thought. This Agramati who is so fierce is covered with faults and will fall into great sins. I am going to teach him the profound dharma. Even if he cannot grasp it today, this teaching will earn him Buddhahood later." Then gathering the Sangha together, Prasannendriya spoke these stanzas. Raga, desire is the path. Dvesa, hatred and moha, delusion are also the path. In these 3 things are included innumerable states of Buddhahood. Whoever makes a distinction between raga dvesa moha, desire, hatred, delusion and the path departs as far from the Buddha as the sky is far from the earth. The path and raga dvesa moha are one and the same thing. The person who listens to his fears wanders far from Buddhahood. Raga is not born, it does not perish. It is incapable of calling forth anxiety. But if the person believes in the atman, raga will lead him to bad destinies. To distinguish existence from non-existence is not freeing oneself from them. Recognizing their fundamental identity is to win the victory and realize Buddhahood. Prasannendriya spoke 70 more stanzas of this kind, and at that moment, 30,000 Devaputras found acquiescence in the doctrine of non-production. 18,000 Sravakas, detached from all dharmas, found deliverance. The bodhisattva Agramati fell into hell where he suffered torments for 10 million years. Then he was reborn among humans where he was exposed to ridicule for 740,000 lifetimes. For innumerable kalpas he never heard the name of the Buddha pronounced, but, as his sin was becoming lighter, he heard the Buddhist doctrine preached. Becoming a monk in search of the path, he gave up the precepts and for 1,000 lifetimes, he completely neglected the precepts. Finally, for innumerable lifetimes, he was a sramana, but although he no longer neglected the precepts, his faculties remained closed. As for the bodhisattva Prasannendriya, he is the Buddha in the eastern region beyond 100,000 kotis of Buddha fields. His land is called Pao Yen and he himself is named Kuang Yu Zhe Ming Wang. Manjusri continued this story, saying to the Buddha, "At that time, I was the bhiksu agramati. I knew that I had to endure these immense sufferings." Manjusri said again, "Those who seek the path of the three vehicles and do not want to undergo such suffering should not reject the true nature of dharmas or give themselves up to hatred." The Buddha then asked him, "When you heard these stanzas of Prasannendriya, what benefit did you get from them?" Manjusri replied, "When I heard these stanzas, I came to the end of my suffering. From lifetime to lifetime I had sharp faculties and wisdom, I was able to find the profound dharma and I excelled in preaching the profound meaning. I was foremost among all the bodhisattvas. Thus, to be skillful in preaching the true nature of the dharmas is to excel in saving appropriately." End chapter 12.